Vieira, whoa, Vieira, whoa, he comes from Portugal to play for Arsenal. Vieira, whoa. Yeah. Um, yeah. We've. It looks like we're signing a player out of absolutely nowhere. This isn't the transfer video we had planned for today. We had one recorded yesterday. We're just going to go up today. I'm not even sure this will go up on the day it's been promoted. We're not a news site, so it doesn't really matter. Um, but yeah, we're signing a player out of nowhere. All you impatient people who have been in my Instagram comments saying, "Oh, I'm tired of seeing rumors." Well, here, this deal looks like it's going to be done. Fabrizio has tweeted about it. David Ornstein has tweeted about it, which basically confirms it. We've agreed personal terms. We've agreed the deal with Porto. Right, I think it's going up to 35 million euros with add-ons. He's flying to London tonight, and he will do his medical tomorrow. So, Daniel, you said it's going to take ages to get over the line. Well, looks like it could be very soon. Quick little shout out before we talk about the player. We recorded a drunk cast yesterday, so that will be up hopefully tomorrow. And yeah, I'd love for you to go and watch that because it's a brilliant reliving of last season. Just a little shout out. But anyway, Vieira. Danny, give me your instant thoughts on this deal. Fabio Vieira to the Arsenal.
Like most others, totally surprised by it. No links to him at all, even. It was so weird because I kind of got to witness the entire saga play out. And by the way, folks, I don't know when this video will come out, but we're doing this the day that it dropped. So the bombshell has just occurred. Ornstein probably just tweeted about it 10 minutes ago. But I literally went on, I'm sure everyone does this during the transfer window. You go onto Google and you type in the player's name and you press news. And when I did that, Alfie, nothing about Arsenal at all. And now all of a sudden, within half an hour, bang, 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 bang. Crazy. This was just an absurdly abrupt, that was hard to say, deal. And I guess we're going to get it over the line. Apparently had a release clause of 50 million, and we're going to get it done for 35. So there you go, folks. Edu can apparently negotiate. And yeah, I don't know much about the player, but my initial thoughts are, surface level stats look pretty good. 14 assists and 6 goals last season in the Portuguese league. And then
that's in 14.890s, by the way.
Exactly. Only apparently, according to Transfer Market, only started 44% of their games or something like that. So pretty impressive. 22 years of age, right? Kind of profile that we've been, signing players with. And Alfie, you sent in the group chat that he has a really nice little radar on him as well.
Yeah, as I always do when I hear about a new player that I don't know too much about. I go straight to find some of their data. And the go-to guy for that, if you don't follow him on Twitter, you probably do, is Scott Willis, _crab on Twitter. And he, within minutes of Fabrizio tweeting, had a nice little radar showing he had an attacking midfield radar and a central midfield radar, which is interesting because I think that shows he is definitely more on the attacking side of the game. He'll probably be more of a creative 8, whether it's him and Odegaard or possibly him or Odegaard. Because neither do huge amounts of creative work. I think both are good pressers. So I think against teams where we absolutely dominate, both could play. But yeah, it looks like he's comfortable on the left and as a left 8 or a right 8. He's left-footed. That instantly made me think Granit Xhaka gone, but I don't think they're actually too comparable in terms of playing styles. I think he's really good ball progression numbers, really efficient in his passing. That's what the data said. Really creative. He's in the 99.8th percentile for expected assists per 90, which is pretty insane. And yeah, good shot creation, good ball progression. I think he'll slot in really well to the left or right 8. It's just a question of what does this mean for other players? Yuri Tielemans, what does it mean for that deal? What does it mean for Granit Xhaka potentially? If we bring in him and Tielemans, first of all, that's quite a lot of money spent on our midfield. Surely someone else leaves because we'll then have 7 players But then again, you want depth and you want competition, particularly with how congested it's going to be. What do you think, Daniel? And also, I was going to say I've watched a lot of clips in this last sort of 20 minutes, and he looks um, really good. It's quite exciting. I know, obviously, clips you're seeing the best stuff from him, but I guess I'll wait for Arsenal Vision's scouting video on him. But anyway, Daniel, what do you think this means for potentially other midfielders that we have, and maybe the Tielemans deal?
I asked that in the chat, and Vinay actually just reached back and said, Vieira doesn't really profile much like a, kind of deep lying midfielder. He looks significantly better. Basically, as a goal threat, he just seems like a constant goal threat. That was the main thing that I took away. You touched on the clips.
He's really creative as well.
Yeah, I mean, just in that box, he looks dangerous, and I guess before you get to it as well. So in the final third. Yeah, so I think it's a bit of a weird one because, Vieira, Tielemans, and Xhaka are all totally different players from one another, I think. Maybe Tielemans and Xhaka are the most comparable, but even then they're quite different from one another. So I guess in theory, they all could, be part of the team and would each bring something different to the table, especially with how many matches we're going to have this season being in the Europa League. But you just have that sense with, you said it was 7 midfielders, you have that sense that it would get a little bit crowded in there. And this almost reminds me a bit of, I think it was last year when we just had like 9 central defenders. And it was like, well, you're going to have to get rid of some.
I think that was summer 2020, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 years ago,
that.
Pardon me.
That was funny.
And it's almost similar now because, it's getting a little bit crowded in there. But Alfie, I do have to say, I think that this midfield needed work, man. And there's no two ways around it. I mean, at the tail end of last season, I think that was the part of our team that really started to fall apart, and maybe a huge part of the reason why we didn't get top 4,
Yeah, and I've seen comparisons to Bernardo Silva, and that's potentially something exploring, as in he is, I mean, obviously the Portuguese thing makes that an obvious comparison. He's quite
I was going to say small as well, yeah.
Exactly, he's quite slight, yeah. Very technically good, but Bernardo Silva was much more of a winger when he was at Monaco, and then he came to City, and he has developed into someone who played pretty much anywhere in the midfield. Maybe Fabio Vieira could develop into that. I guess when you look back at some of the Wenger teams, and we just had so many sort of technical, creative midfielders. You look at the period when we had Ozil, Cazorla, Wilshere, not Fabregas then, but Ramsey, for example, Arshavin, Nasri. Like, we had a period when we had all of those. Obviously, Ozil and Cazorla a bit. Anyway, we used to have 3-4 players who were like technicians in that midfield, really creative, and we had like a period the start of the 2021 season where we had none, and now we're looking at bringing more of those in. You look at Odegaard, now Vieira, potentially Tielemans, and then I guess you could put Smith Rowe in that category, maybe even Saka. So yeah, it's encouraging, and you can't have too many of them because competition and that. But I do think this could have repercussions potentially on the Tielemans deal. But the Tielemans deal is still being massively reported. Maybe on Xhaka, who knows? But it's exciting anyway. I guess we'll have more on this deal. Maybe we'll do a scouting video on him once the deal is complete, which I expect to be soon. And yeah, any parting words, Daniel?
I figured I would just ask you one parting question, actually, to sort of get your thoughts on it. From the clips that we saw, and I've watched a few Portuguese games in the past. It seems like a really kind of rough and physical league. Do you think that'll help Vieira coming into the Premier League, which is obviously just as physical, maybe more so as well?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm not going to claim I've watched too much Portuguese football. I do know someone who watches a lot, Andrew Delgado, who used to Right, for We Love You Arsenal, he's a big fan of. He's Portuguese. He's I think he supports Benfica, so he watches a lot of it. And he said he's amazing, and he won't struggle with the physical aspect. Maybe it'll be a bit of a adaptation, but if you're saying the Portuguese league's quite physical, then yeah, of course, he is slight. So maybe you have to bulk up a little bit. But you see players like, for example, Bernardo Silva, who he's not built, but he's fucking insane. He's so good technically, and he does look like a very elusive player, able to sort of glide away from midfielders. So yeah, I'm just really excited. These are the sort of deals when when they come out of nowhere and it's just a player you don't know too much about, but then you watch a bit of footage, you hear what people do know about him say. It's just really exciting. It's probably more exciting than a player we know a lot about, because it's just more interesting. Anyway, yeah. Any final parting words, Danny?
As you said at the top of the show, folks, pimps, cool uncles, if you are one, if you're a podcast fan, check out the Drunkcast. It's our 5th ever one, 125th episode of the podcast total. Really good stuff. Go watch it. 2.5 hour long episode. So do take your time, because it will probably kill brain cells listening to it.
Yeah, I kind of didn't even clock it's that long. Anyway, yeah, watch for when that comes out. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description, and we'll see you later.